Episode 4: The Algorithm's Shadow. How AI Shapes What We Think. I want you to perform a simple mental exercise. Stop right now and think about the last 3 things you saw on your phone. Don't just gloss over them. Actually recall the images, the headlines, the fleeting colors. Not what you looked for, but what was served to you. Was it a headline about a politician you already dislike? Written with the specific intent of stirring your ire? Was it a product you mentioned once in a casual conversation, now relentlessly following you across every digital surface like a persistent ghost? Or was it a video confirming a suspicion you've long held? A piece of content that felt less like a discovery and more like a warm, familiar blanket? Now ask yourself, was that a thought you chose to engage with, or was that a thought chosen for you? The space you inhabit online, your social media feeds, your curated search results, your endless stream of recommended videos, is not a natural reflection of the world. It is a meticulously crafted mirror, designed to show you only the parts of yourself it knows you will click on. A reality engineered to keep your eyes fixed on the screen. We often mistake this convenience for connection, but in reality, it's a sophisticated form of isolation. By feeding us a diet of the familiar, the algorithm starves the part of the human spirit that thrives on the unexpected and the challenging. We are becoming spectators in a theater where the play is written in real time by a script that knows our triggers better than we know ourselves. This personalized reality is constructed by algorithms, vast, invisible engines that track every click, every pause, every emotional reaction, and every hesitant scroll. But there is a critical shift that we often overlook. These algorithms no longer just reflect our preferences, they actually shape our thoughts, our beliefs, and our evolving sense of identity. They have become the unacknowledged architects of our cognitive landscape. They operate in the silent gaps between our conscious decisions, nudging us toward conclusions we believe we've reached already and independently. This is the algorithm's shadow. It is the place where genuine curiosity is replaced by predictive certainty, where critical thinking is drowned out by the echo of confirmation, and where cognitive freedom gives way to digital conformity. It is a landscape where the horizon is always shrinking, pulling us closer to a version of ourselves that is easier to monetize and more predictable to control. Welcome back to the Consciousness Code. I'm Robert Bauer, and today we're stepping into the shadow cast by artificial intelligence. We are exploring how these invisible forces are subtly, relentlessly, and powerfully creating and curating our reality. The question isn't just about privacy. It's about the sovereignty of the human mind. Are we still thinking our own thoughts? Or are we living inside an algorithm's dream? The filter bubble and the illusion of self. The primary tool of the algorithm's shadow is the filter bubble. This isn't a new concept, but its depth, its pervasiveness, and its subtlety are often underestimated by those who think they are savvy digital users. It is an invisible ecosystem of information created entirely for you, built on the countless data points harvested from your past behavior, your clicks, your watch time, your pauses, your deletions, and the very speed at which you scroll past certain topics. The algorithm knows which political post made your heart rate quicken, which piece of gossip made you linger, and which argument triggered a furious defensive response. It then curates your media diet with ruthless efficiency, eliminating information that might bore you or challenge you, and prioritizing anything that affirms your existing worldview. The goal is simple: maximize engagement time, because maximum engagement means maximum ad revenue. Truth, complexity, and nuance are simply inefficient when they don't produce a click. This efficiency comes at a staggering cost to our intellectual health. By removing friction of disagreement, the algorithm atrophies our ability to engage with complexity. We are being trained to expect the world to be simple, binary, and always in alignment with our personal prejudices. The psychological danger here is twofold. First, it creates the illusion of consensus. When your feed is entirely populated by people who agree with you, sharing articles that confirm your biases, you begin to believe that your views are the majority, the correct view, and that anyone outside your bubble is an irrational outlier. This is intellectual complacency, and it is profoundly corrosive to critical thought. The world ceases to be a diverse place of debate and becomes a self-affirming echo chamber, a hall of mirrors, where we only hear our own voices reflected back at us. Second, the algorithm's drive for engagement leads to algorithmic extremism. The system quickly learns that moderate, nuanced content generates polite nodding, while angry, polarizing, or shocking content generates clicks, shares, and furious comments. The algorithm is structurally incentivized to prioritize rage over reason. It doesn't care if the story is true. It only cares if it's provocative enough to stop your thumb from scrolling. If you show a slight interest in a conspiracy theory, the system doesn't introduce a counterpoint. It doubles down, pushing you deeper into the rabbit hole, because it knows that certainty and indignation are significantly more engaging than intellectual humility. Think of yourself as a digital buffet. The algorithm is standing behind you, not offering a diverse spread of food, but forcing plates for your favorite dessert over and over again, until that is the only food you can recognize. The consequence is a profound intellectual isolation. We lose the essential cognitive muscle required to engage with differing viewpoints. We no longer understand why the person in the other bubble thinks the way they do, because we have never been exposed to their information sources, their premises, or their core concerns. The shared reality that underpins democracy, community, and empathy begins to fracture into millions of distinct, personalized realities, each one self-reinforcing and increasingly hostile to the others. This is the great undoing of the promise of the Internet. It was meant to be the global town square, connecting us all. Instead, the algorithm has subdivided it into countless private rooms, each one magnifying the noise or shrinking our collective window onto the world. The greatest cost of the filter bubble is not just misinformation. It is the erosion of our collective consciousness. We are losing the ability to speak a common language of facts and shared values, replaced by a fractured landscape of digital tribes. The attention economy and the nudge. The filter bubble is the what, the content that shapes our beliefs. But we must now examine the how, the psychological engineering that keeps us returning, hour after hour, minute after minute. We are living in an attention economy, where the most valuable commodity is not gold or oil, but the milliseconds of your focused awareness. And to capture that attention, these platforms employ principles straight out of behavioral science, turning our own minds into predictable machines. The foundation of this engineering is the dopamine loop. This is a powerful mechanism built on the principle of intermittent variable reinforcement, first studied extensively by B.F. Skinner. In his experiments, a pigeon learned to peck a lever constantly, not because it was guaranteed food every time, but because the reward came randomly. That uncertainty, the maybe this time, maybe not, is a psychology more compelling than a guaranteed reward. It exploits the brain's evolution to search for rewards in a world of scarcity. But in the digital world, the rewards are artificial and infinite. Every time you pull down your social media feed to refresh, you are pulling the slot machine lever. You aren't guaranteed to see something interesting, but the possibility of a hit, a new like, a viral comment, a piece of shocking news, is enough to release a shot of dopamine, the brain's reward chemical. This isn't just a behavior. It is a neurological addiction loop designed to short-circuit our rational decision-making. We keep scrolling not because we want more information, but because we are chasing that next unpredictable hit of validation. The design is intentionally addictive. But the influence goes deeper than just addiction. It involves subtle digital nudges. Nudge theory, popularized by Richard Thaler and Cass Sunstein, suggests that small, subtle changes in the way choices are presented can predictably alter human behavior without restricting options. It is the invisible hand of digital design, guiding us toward behaviors that benefit the platform's bottom line while making us feel as though we are acting on our own volition. On social platforms, the nudge is everywhere. The default setting. The default is infinite scroll. There is no physical end to the content, no natural breakpoint to allow for reflection or disengagement. This subtlety tells your brain, keep going. By removing the stop signals we find in physical media, the end of a chapter or of the final page of a newspaper, the algorithm effectively hijacks our natural cognitive rhythms. The fear of missing out, or FOMO. Glowing red notification badge is a powerful psychological alarm, exploiting our innate social anxiety. That tiny red circle acts as a persistent reminder that there is valuable, time-sensitive information you are not privy to, coercing you to open the app immediately. It triggers a primitive stress response, making it nearly impossible to ignore. Algorithmic timing. The platforms don't show you everything you missed. They strategically delay and release high engagement content, precisely when they predict your attention is the weakest, late at night, during a stressful moment, or when you first wake up. The algorithm is not just reading your thoughts, it's anticipating your emotional vulnerability. It waits for the moment when your executive function is at its lowest to deliver the most addictive content. These nudges are not neutral. They are tools of persuasion architecture. They are designed by teams of data scientists and psychologists to direct our cognitive energy toward commercial and engagement goals, often at the expense of our mental well-being, our productivity, and our relationships. The cumulative effect of this constant, subtle psychological manipulation is an erosion of cognitive sovereignty. We spend so much time reacting to the algorithm's manufactured urgency that we lose the capacity for slow, deep, intentional thought. Our consciousness becomes fragmented, perpetually distracted, and highly reactive, precisely the state in which we are most easily influenced. The algorithms aren't just selling us products, they are selling us a state of mind, a constant state of mild agitation, urgency, and need. We are being conditioned to live in the now of the notification, losing our connection to the long-form narrative of our own lives. The identity crisis, when AI decides who you are. We have discussed how algorithms capture our attention and reinforce our existing beliefs. But the shadow deepens when we realize these systems aren't just reflecting who we are. They are actively dictating who we will become. The algorithm has moved from a mirror to a mold. It is no longer satisfied with observing our identity. It has begun to manufacture it. This is the predictive self, the digital profile that knows your potential better than you do. Every piece of data, your late-night search queries, the podcasts you subscribe to, the speed at which you scroll past certain topics, is fed into models that generate a shadow profile. This profile doesn't just contain your known interests, it calculates your susceptibility to debt, your likelihood of changing political affiliation, or the probability of you quitting your job next year. It is an actual table of your soul, predicting your failures and successes before you even conceive of them. The shadow profile is then used for destiny profiling. It is the invisible force that shapes your opportunities. Consider a job platform. It might subtly filter out job recommendations based on an algorithmic assumption that your profile lacks grit or leadership potential, steering you toward a less ambitious career path. Or consider financial decisions. Your shadow profile might tag you as a risk, leading to higher interest rates or outright denial of a loan, effectively codifying your economic identity before you've even had a chance to prove the algorithm wrong. In this world, you are not judged by actions, but by the mathematical probability of your future actions. The greatest philosophical casualty here is cognitive freedom, the sacred right to surprise oneself. We, as humans, are meant to be creatures of contradiction, capable of radical self-invention. The person who loves classical music one day and suddenly decides to travel the world the next. The person who holds liberal views in their 20s but finds complexity and nuance in their 40s. The algorithm, however, despises contradiction because it introduces uncertainty. It wants a predictable, stable self to target and serve. This creates the insidious feedback loop of identity. Prediction. The algorithm predicts you are a politically radicalized user. Reinforcement. It feeds you increasingly extreme content to validate that prediction. Conformity. You consume the content, your beliefs harden, and you conform to the identity the algorithm has prescribed. Validation. Your conformity confirms the algorithm was right, making the next prediction even stronger. You become a prisoner of your past data. Your future self is merely an optimized version of your current self, stripped of the capacity for spontaneous growth or ideological pivot. The self becomes a prepackaged, targetable product, and the ability to explore contradictory ideas or make a dramatic life change is algorithmically suppressed. We are trading the messy, beautiful spontaneity of human growth for the sterile efficiency of a data point. Furthermore, these predictive systems are inherently biased. They are trained on historical human data, and historical data is replete with systemic injustice, racial, gender, and class bias. When an algorithm codifies this past injustice, it just doesn't reflect it. It magnifies it and projects it into the future. It aligns lower career potential to entire demographic groups based on the biases of the human hiring managers of the past. The algorithm's shadow ensures the inequalities of yesterday become the structural, invisible destiny of tomorrow. The question is no longer, what do I want to be? But what does the algorithm think I should be? We are ceding the fundamental responsibility of our intellectual and existential journeys to an invisible logic designed for maximum profit. The final frontier of control is not our body, but our mind. If we cannot even imagine a future outside of the one predicted for us, we have already lost the battle for our own identity. We've seen that the algorithm is not a neutral tool. It is a profound shaper of human consciousness, trading our cognitive freedom for maximum engagement. It builds a shadow profile that predicts our destiny and steers us away from the challenging truths and self-contradiction. It is an engine of conformity in a world that desperately needs original thought. The question remains, how do we break free of the algorithmic dream and reclaim the sovereignty of our own minds? The answer lies in cognitive resilience, the active practice of algorithmic awareness. This is not a technological fix. It is a philosophical discipline. It requires us to treat every piece of content served to us not as a truth to be consumed, but as a test to be examined. It means consciously seeking information that contradicts our beliefs, actively expanding our filter bubble, and prioritizing slow, deep reading over fast, fragmented scrolling. We must be intentional about the data we generate, knowing that every click is a brick in the wall of our digital prison. We must recultivate the capacity for boredom, as boredom is the empty space where genuine, non-algorithmic thoughts and insights are born. In that stillness, away from the dopamine hits and the frantic pace of the notifications, we can begin to hear the sound of our own uncurated voice again. The battle for the future of consciousness is not happening in a lab. It's happening every time we pick up our phone, We must remember that our identity is not a product to be optimized by the code, but a continuous act of radical self-creation. The final frontier of freedom is the mind. We must guard it with a fierce, uncompromising awareness, refusing to let the shadow of the algorithm define the limits of our potential. This has been the Consciousness Code. We've journeyed deep into the algorithm's shadow to understand how invisible forces curate our reality. The only true defense is awareness. Choose your attention carefully. Choose your input intentionally. And remember that the most valuable thing you possess is the unchallenged territory of your own mind. I'm Robert Bauer. Thank you for joining me on this essential quest for cognitive freedom.